Okay, guys. Hi. Apologize for the. We got hacked. I got hacked. Hydra hacked my system, and we had to start this all over. But we're still going to continue to break down, answer the questions. If you guys have any questions, leave your comment sections, your questions below, and we'll answer them after we give our thoughts on the the current stuff that we're talking about. What I was going on about Flash, let me finish that. Let me finish Flash. Let me finish what I was talking about with Flash. I did not mind Flash. I didn't mind it at all. I thought it was interesting. I thought, to all my fellow wrestling fans out there, I thought Adam Copeland, aka Edge, was really decent for what he was given as Adam Smasher. Since I know Adam Smasher very well, you know, he's a they gave his power set was pretty much the real deal. You know, just when he would get all big, it just looked really weird. It looked like a Stretch Armstrong doll at times. But I don't remember Adam Smasher being bulletproof. I don't remember that. I'm like, he's getting shot, nothing's happening. But other than that, it was fine. The best scenes for me was, like I said, the flashback with Barry. I like that they put to close all the kind of quote unquote that was the tie-ins that weren't resolved in season 1. For example, getting Barry's dad, Henry Allen, out of jail. You know, that was got him out of jail. I was shocked that Eobard Thawne actually basically announced, basically came out and said, yeah, I'm the one that killed, you know, his Mary Allen, you know, things like that. I thought that was like, whoa, he actually admitted that? Like, wow, dude, he actually admitted that. I thought that was really interesting. But other than that, you know, it was okay. And, you know, now that kind of Star Labs is in Barry's possession, like he owns Star Labs now. It's like that is kind of weird, and like, but you can see why maybe Eobard Thawne did it, because, you know, he even said it, you know, instead of hating Barry, he actually came to care for Barry, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got hacked, guys. Hydra hacked my system.
Yeah. Grant Ward upset with that. You know, I don't know what he's saying.
They hacked my system. They didn't like what I was saying. They didn't like what we were saying, because Hydra is pretty much dead.
Yeah.
So they didn't like that.
They're poor.
Tough shit.
Yeah.
You're dead. You're tough shit.
Yeah, don't make me call the Avengers on you and then have like Cap and Thor do a combo where Thor hits Cap's shield and just you guys get knocked down. So
Yeah.
that was great. See, but yeah, I agree with Chris on the Thawne giving Barry Star Labs and letting his dad out. I thought that was interesting, and I'm interested to see where Eobard Thawne will come in later. If he'll come in later in the future. Well, then again, granted, Eddie's dead, so he won't come around ever again. But I hope they use Tom Cavanaugh again, because I really liked him as an actor. I thought he was really good. I thought he had a presence.
Yeah, it'd be really cool that, you know, he would come back as
Zoom?
back as, yeah. No, I don't know, because Zoom is gonna be, they making Zoom more like he's some kind of demon, and he's replaced by the Candyman.
Oh, okay.
But where's he at? But other than that, like I said, him giving Star Labs to Barry was interesting. I was just like, okay, he kind of cares. You know, he actually cared. That's a situation. That's an interesting deal. But seeing Jay Garrett was probably one of the best things for me, because I'm a fan of the old school, the Golden Age characters.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in old school is cool.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
So, seeing Jay Garrett, the original Flash, was great. I mean, it would have been cooler if he had like streaks of gray in his hair, like showcasing he's a little bit older, a little bit more seasoned, but it was cool, and he just easily got into the Star Labs, no problem. I think that was pretty funny.
Let's hope that even though this Jay is young, that it's not handled like that weak ass Ted that we got on Arrow.
Oh God, yeah, that weak, that's a disgrace.
Man, Chris got mad. I remember that.
Man, don't that. Yeah.
And then we're getting Wally sometime later this season. So Jay Garrett.
Oh, that's good. That's gonna be dope. I mean, as long as this Wally is the same as the Wally we know and love, I don't care if he's black. I don't care if he's Asian. I don't care what the hell he is. As long as he acts the same.
Exactly. Like, I don't mind putting the personality of white Wally into an African American Wally. Just don't do New 52 Wally, please don't. I hate.
Yeah, because nobody needs an arrogant street prick. Okay, we've already got enough arrogant pricks on TV. We don't need another one.
Yeah, we really don't. I'm not sure if Chris had to go for a minute, but I'll read one of the see if there's any comments. Jared Flower, hello again, hey man. He has one, I guess, like a random guess. He says he thinks that Zoom might be taking like Earth 2. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me reread that. He says, I think Zoom might be Earth 2 Henry Allen. Just a random guess.
Maybe. That could be interesting.
Wow. That would be interesting. And I think, Jared, were you, I'm not sure, or if it was Omnitron, but so I think it was you or him that said that he's probably Zoom's taking like people from Earth 2 or some other world and making them fight back.
I think that Zoom might be another version of Eddie Thawne.
Mm-hmm. That could be.
Or like, because we never see Eddie's body, right? So we don't know for sure what happened to Eddie in that vortex. Eddie could have gotten sucked up into that vortex, and he could have gotten like corrupted by his negative speed force, and got turned into Black Flash, and then basically pull a Zoom with like the negative speed force powers. Because if you a lot of people, their speculation for Eddie for season 1 was that he was gonna be Zoom, aka the Hunter Zolomon character, because that's what Eddie seemed like he was. So maybe that's what they're gonna do with him.
Probably, I would assume. Oh man, I'm so. Yeah. Yeah, they'll probably do that. And I think they'll also somewhat. But the way Jay Garrett said it is like he's a demon or something. I'm like.
Also, what would be really cool? Like, since we're seeing alternate worlds and stuff, it'd be awesome if we got to see an alternate dimension with the 90s TV show, and John Shipp is in his costume as the Flash.
That'd be interesting.
I'm pretty sure they're going to do an episode with Evil Barry, probably. They're going to do one of those.
Or like, Johnny Quick, the Earth 3 Flash.
Yeah.
We'll probably see it. They'll probably do something. I think Caitlin, she'll come, but it'll be some time.
Yeah.
Oh man, like a lot of that fan art for Caitlin with Killer Frost looks really cool. I wanted it to kind of look like that because that looked pretty awesome.
And I wonder. Sorry.
That was a nice design for her. If they do they do. Caitlin, I don't. She's already said somewhat that she doesn't blame Barry for his death.
Mhm.
But she does feel that she blames herself. So maybe it's her grief that kind of makes it.
Yeah. She feels like she's a failure, and that's what turns her more to the dark side.
Yeah. So I feel that, but I'm more concerned also. Will we see Cisco become Vibe? Will he?
Actually, we see a little glimpse of that. Like Brian, I was talking to Brian about the episode, and Brian actually pointed out to me that like he kind of had a little vision when we first see Atom Smasher.
Yeah,
Had a little.
he did have a little vision. I was like, okay, what's that supposed to mean?
I think it. And Brian pointed out he was like maybe it's just like his first time seeing the vibrations of another dimension or something like that. Like
The
his.
other thing I thought was, first when it first came on, I really thought when I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like he's fighting Captain Cold and Heat Wave, and then you see good job, Barry. Next, I'm like, wait, what's all this happy-go-lucky stuff? And then I saw Eddie. I'm like, oh, okay, this is some dream.
Yeah, I was like. When I saw Eddie, I was like, wait, because what Kyle said before, how this reality shouldn't exist. So I thought, like, when I saw everybody there, including Eddie, I was like, oh, so that means Eddie killing himself kind of just reverted the timeline, and this is a whole different timeline now.
Yeah, and when I saw that opening with him fighting and when he gets in there and everyone's like, good job, I'm like, am I reading a 60s comic? Like, this felt like a 60s comic, and it's like all happy-go-lucky. It's like, oh, I'll get you, Flash.
It did seem very Silver Age, like.
Didn't somebody say good job, chum, or something like that?
Yeah, like it was like Wells was like, good job, old boy, or so. I was like, what the hell? Like, is this like what is going on here?
I thought that was weird. I'm like, wait a minute, he just said good boy and stuff. Like, what?
Good boy.
I'm like, but I'm like, at first when I saw it, I'm like, why is Jay stalking Barry? Like, he's taking pictures of him. Like, he's coming off like a stalker now. Like, I don't like this. I was like, and then he just walks in. The way he walked in was just like really, all eyes on me now.
He was real nonchalant about it. He was like, so, how's it going?
Yeah, you got Joe, get your hands up right now. Who are you?
You heard what he said.
Who are you? I thought that was where we were going to see Jay actually just take the gun away and like sit, not your enemy. Like,
I thought he was gonna disassemble the gun, like go real fast and disassemble the gun, like how Barry does in a lot of the cartoons.
Yes, that was
Wally does.
The season opener was good. It had some flaws. I'm not gonna lie, guys. It did have some flaws that I was just like, wait a minute. Like, for me, like I said personally, I thought it was they would literally do the ending of season 1 like right there. It opened right there.
Also, another thing I want to point out that I'm kind of scared for the Flash. I really hope they don't just keep doing Villain of the Week again.
Yeah.
It seems like they're doing like Zoom's Minion of the Week, like, you know what I'm saying? Because it looks they're doing Sand Demon now next time. I'm like, so what's next? They're gonna do like freaking like Abracadabra.
Yeah.
I think that's something that we all kind of get tired of in terms of. It's like the villain of the week.
I mean, we saw that with Smallville for like 2 seasons. We don't need that with Flash.
Yeah. We don't.
And then, I've always had this thing, and it's not just with superhero shows. I wish we would stop having, it either has to be a 6-episode miniseries, a 13-episode series, or a 22 or 23-episode series. Have the amount of episodes that you need to tell your story. Don't put filler in. There's a reason why we have fillers, because people have to stretch stories out. Like, I feel like if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was like 13 episodes, we wouldn't have stretched out seasons. Flash, we wouldn't have like Freak of the Week or Monster of the Week. Arrow.
Yeah, since this is kind of connected to Flash and Arrow, you guys want to talk about really quickly like the wrap up for Vixen? Like, since that's kind of connected.
I didn't watch that.
Kyle didn't watch that.
I wasn't interested.
Well, I mean, you could watch it. You could watch it in like half an hour. Like literally, each episode is like 5 minutes, which just kind of sucks. But
It did. Yeah, I said my piece on that show. What I will say is this: I'm hoping that we do see Vixen sometime in the near future live action.
yeah,
It has, since she is connected into this universe. She's the defender of Detroit now, so she's in Detroit. But I think I do agree with what we were saying. The villain of the week. It seems like they are going that way. Sand Demon. And then you got, because I watched the teaser. Of it. And he says Sand Demon. And then you got Cisco. Wait. I come up with the names, and Jay's like,
Cisco felt very Michelangelo with that.
Yeah, he's like, Sand Demon is from my world, so it's like, it was kind of funny, just Professor Stein coming up with this Atom Smasher, and
no, okay, tell me I wasn't the only one who thought that Dr. Stein was trying to pull a freaking Christopher Walken, Doc Brown.
Oh yeah, he was.
Like how he was like exaggerating his voice. I was like, you trying to talk like a Doc Brown?
He's like this Atom Smasher, and then Cisco turned around and hugs him like, yeah, good. I like that. Good name.
I don't know. I like their little science bros thing. It reminded me of like Tony. It reminded me of like Tony and Bruce in the Avengers movies.
Yeah. I don't like Cisco's "let's name everything," but I thought that was really funny. I got a good chuckle out of that. So.
But
Cisco's my boy. I like this version of Cisco, especially because the original vibe was such a joke. I like that he's actually making the joke.
Comparing the original pre-52 DC vibe to new 52 vibe, it's a complete difference, and I can see why a lot of people like the new vibe than the complete 80s breakdancing.
He was the b-boy Latino gimmick, like it's like.
Oh man.
This is bad. They've done skits of it on like the DC animated, like shows.
Yeah, when Young Justice used to come on, it was like the commercial filler.
Doing breakdancing, I'm like, don't show that vibe. But yeah, it's a good start. I think we're all just scared that it's gonna be, villain of the week, and things like that. With no real build to any of these characters. We got really good build with the likes of like Grodd. Grodd was built up well.
Yeah. Cold I think was done decently, and I like Glider. Glider was done well too. I just like Glider's actress.
I love Peyton List. Yeah. Oh man. But yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh crap. That's why I think with these villains of the week thing, I think I might just watch these in 2-episode, I'll wait like 2 weeks and watch them on Hulu, 2 episodes apiece, because I don't know if I can wait each week for villain of the week. I don't know, that could get tedious.
Yeah, I can understand that. I just hope they don't just keep killing villains off, because that's the thing that pisses me off with Flash. Because that crap with Plastique had to die. Plastique didn't need to die, guys.
Yeah, it's like, why are we doing this Sam Raimi crap and Sam Raimi Spider-Man crap still? It's can we stop? That's why Stan Lee always says, I always kept them alive just in case I needed them again. You're gonna need them. I don't know how many villains Flash has. He's got 100,000, but
Flash has a lot, but that doesn't mean you have to kill half of them.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know everything about Flash and his Rose guy. I'll probably have to look him up, but you don't need to kill all the good ones, and
yeah, it does get a little tiring. Seeing them always dying. Like I said, even when they introduced Plastique into this, I was like, why did they kill her off? I was like, She could have been such a good ally for Barry. I'm like, oh.
Oh, yeah, she was like a rogue.
That's what I liked. I was,
Yeah.
I thought they could actually put her on the Suicide Squad, like she was on the Suicide Squad with Ostrander. I'm like, oh, you could, yeah, like I could actually be interested in the Suicide Squad now. But
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, never mind.
She did have that rogue vibe, and I think that's why I was liking her so much. I was like, yeah, boy, this Plastique is feeling like Rogue, but yeah, we just hope they don't kill off everything, and they become the undead.
I can't wait to see Mirror Master. Mirror Master needs to show up because he's one of my favorite Flash villains.
Yeah, we haven't seen Mirror Master yet. Like, I'm really looking forward to seeing how they pull that off.
I love Mirror Master.
You guys tell us in the comments section below what you thought about the season premiere of Flash. Keep it real as always. Don't half-ass anything, please. We're gonna move on to the next show that came on right after Flash. This would probably be just me and Jay talking. We're going to iZombie.
Yep.
And you will see us guys again. Me and Jay will probably come. We'll come back again to do our iZombie season recap.
Yeah.
This was a really good, strong episode. Poor Liv.
Oh man, I felt so bad for her.
I felt so bad for Liv in this. I mean, that cliffhanger ending where her brother gets nearly blown up.
And with all this, he gets all the shrapnel in his body from that explosion.
He needs a blood transfusion, and with a certain type of blood, which is very rare, but Liv has it. However, what is Liv now, guys? She's
a zombie. She can't be given blood. She doesn't want her brother to go through that.
And she literally says one word, and it just ends in that first season. No. And it was just like, whoa. So you figure out what's gonna happen next. Come back, and her mom is like, he doesn't want to see you. It's just really like she's in hostile territory. Like
her mom was giving her dagger eyes. Like she was just angry. You could just feel really that.
Angry. It was really. I really felt bad for Liv. And then here comes her brother calling her name, and she's like, I'm here, and he just wakes up and says, get out. I was like, oh man, that was so. You felt really bad for Liv.
Yeah.
Here she is, still feeling like she needs to do her job, and there's another death, and she has to eat the brains of.
The grumpy old man.
Yeah, the grumpy old man, and she started getting the personality. Which
she was just like, you kids get off my on that punk ass kid.
Yeah. So it was a lot of Liv has a lot to deal with in terms of dealing with her family, and she's still trying to keep this secret of what she is. I mean she, and then you got also the fact of now she has to deal with what Blaine is up to, and I thought that. And
also the thing with Major, also the tension between her and Major, because Major's he's still dealing with the fact you turned me into a freaking zombie, and then you decide to cure me without my permission. We don't even know what this cure does, but you did it to me anyway.
Yeah, there was a cure, guys. If you remember the season, there was a cure that was who worked on it again?
Max Ray. It was Robbie. Robbie worked
on it, and the cure was to cure Liv. Unfortunately, Major went all Rambo in the finale. I should say he went Punisher. And he started popping off zombies left and right, pop, and when he
did that shit with the grenade and the
he got stabbed by Blaine, who was the villain of the season, and Liv didn't want him to die. Now you gotta remember, Major was her fiance, so she still cares for him, and she scratched him, literally, just scratched him. And don't worry about that, guys. Just another core member entering. This is Ricky, for all you guys out there. So pretty much, Liv guys has a lot to deal with, and now Major seems to have like a side effect. He can sense. It's almost
He's got,
like
fire,
a
he's got fire sense, but with
yeah.
zombies, like,
That's what I was just about to say. He's got kind of like a spider sense or a zombie sense that warns him of when like zombies are around. However, somebody finds out about it. The man kind of responsible for this zombie epidemic. And,
yeah, Max Ranger, and then
Ranger.
the biggest part of the ending, I think, would have to be when we see that the hot secretary that works in Max Ranger's office is Liv's roommate. And it goes,
Yeah,
oh,
like
crap.
I didn't expect that. I was like, whoa, like she's the roommate now because we know her last roommate found out about Liv's secret and she just disappeared. Didn't even. We don't know where she's now. It kind of messed up for that, but she got a new roommate. But as always, Liv, she has to eat. She basically what it is she was a big time surgeon. When she got turned, she started working in the coroner's office, and so basically anybody who's a zombie, they have to eat brains. That's the only thing that will suffice them.
It's so that they can keep their sanity. Because if they don't eat brains within like 6 months, they start to go all like,
Yeah, they become like the traditional zombie, like things like that.
Okay, that's cool.
And the other thing is they can only really like get a taste of it is if
with like a lot of spice. Yeah.
A lot of spicy foods. So you'll see her always eating something spicy with it, sort of. But
And when she eats the brains of people, she also gains their personality traits and their memories. So that's part of her power to it.
And she works the case, and she works it. Hey Ricky, how you doing?
Hey Ricky.
What's up?
And she works cases with a cop called Detective Babineau.
Babineau.
I'm not joking because he kind of talks like with this. Kind of talks with like this, like very low cut talk, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm working homicide."
He's got like an old man New Yorker accent, like.
Yeah, like.
My name is Clem Babineau.
Yeah, it just sounds like he comes straight out of like a black exploitation. He comes like a black exploitation movie, so it's really funny. But he thinks Liv is a psychic, so he's always like, "You got a vision? You got a vision?" And she's like, "Yeah, I got a vision." And we find out there's more zombies in there's more zombies in Seattle. It takes place in Seattle, so.
That's cool.
And
yeah,
you'll know if somebody's a zombie. If the hints are, if they're not bleaching their skin, they all have pale skin, white hair, but if they bleach it, you can't really tell. So if you see them eating spicy stuff, then it's like, okay, that's a hint that maybe she's one. And so pretty much the episode was really strong. It's just that, Liv is, she's going to do what she has to do.
And Major has to do what he has to do, because Major ends up becoming like a zombie contract killer, kind of.
Yeah, like that was another big cliffhanger. Now, Major is being blackmailed. He's being blackmailed to do because they found out about his secret. He can sense.
Yep.
So Max Ranger, whatever the hell his name is. He's basically like the man who made the drink that turned people into zombies, kind of, and he wants all these zombies wiped out so he can go.
Yeah, it's basically so that like it's not bad press for his investors, and so his investors will like put more money into his product, and so Major's doing cleanup on all the zombies, and basically what he said was, we already know about one zombie named Liv Moore. We could start with her if you want, or you could do what we want to do and kill all the rest of these people, and we won't touch Liv.
Yeah, so, pretty much. But the also thing is that Bavinal has been keeping tabs on Major, like saying that he may have been involved in a murder and, things like that.
And he's also suspicious of Lieutenant Suzuki, who,
Yeah. The captain who died, who was the zombie, actually.
Yep.
But, Liv is she's going to do what she has to do. She's going to continue. Robbie's going to work on a new cure, I believe.
And Blaine is trying to make his own zombie army again because he found some more utopium. So,
yeah, Blaine. That was funny to see Blaine actually working in a funeral. I was like,
I love his line where he's like, so are you here to pick out your own coffin? Because I mean, it could give you that nice rise up out of the ground, fresh zombie look. And I'm like, I was weak. Blaine is funny. That actor always plays douchebags.
Yeah, he does. But like this, guys, if your comments in the section below about iZombie. Of course, me and Jay will be back on the channel when the season wraps up. We'll be there to do the season overview like we did last time. But now, of course, we're going to go on to the last show. And if you guys got any questions, you leave your question in the comment section, and we'll answer them afterward. But we're going to move on to Arrow now. And I think everybody has something to say about Arrow for Season 4. And we're going to start off with Kyle on this one. Because I can't wait. Because, believe it or not, guys, our fellow member here, Kyle, said he was done with Arrow. He won't watch. He gave me a promise he wasn't gonna watch, but he broke his promise and he watched it. So we're gonna see what Kyle thought about the beginning of season 4 of Arrow. I gotta hear that.
A lot of people.
I gotta hear this.
Okay. So, like Chris said, I broke my promise to watch this because I heard Chris and Jay talk about they were going to do a video. So I said, okay, I'll watch this one episode, and if it's good or bad, I'll maybe continue. We'll see. But then after watching it, I went, man, I really wish I would have kept my promise. This episode is it's better than all of Season 3, except for the Sarah episode. I still think that's the best episode of Season 3. To be honest, because I don't think any of Season 3 is good, except for Sarah. This episode's decent. It's not great. It's not as good as the Flash one, which I thought was pretty good. But I had more technical issues with this than anything, like how this was shot and acted, more than really script-wise. But I'll get into some of that later. But I just want to give my 3 good things I like about this episode. I like the line that Oliver says to Felicity Smoke, you have failed this omelet. I love that. I thought that was really funny. And then I like the scene with Laurel and that kid where she winks at him all cute and smiles, and then I like that kind of stuff. And I didn't like how it came to be because she picks him up by the arm and he's like, wow, you're really strong, and I'm like, what? How is she strong?
I know. I was expecting the kid to say gee whiz or something that's what it sounded like.
There honestly were a couple corny moments in the episode.
Yeah, and then what was it? What was the other one I really hated?
The fact that their neighbors had to be the most generic stereotypes suburban neighbors ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll talk about the neighbor stuff. Please.
The Smiths, or whatever their name was.
What was the other thing I actually kind of did like? I liked when Damien Dark came into that room where they're having that meeting, and he just yeah, shut up, I'm gonna talk, and I'm gonna threaten your lives, and then I'm gonna leave. I thought that was really funny. It didn't make sense. I'm like, why does nobody pull out a gun and kill him, or anything like that?
Damien Dark reminded me of freaking Quan Chi. I don't know about you guys, but Damien Dark with his little heart stop touch I'm like,
I got more of a Kali Ma from Temple of Doom vibe from him. Especially he was doing that. I was like,
okay, so let's get into my problems with this.
okay.
So, Diggle, man. First off, that helmet, I can't dig Nito. I hate Dig Nito. I think this is.
Dig Nito.
The first time I saw him like just jump out from when they were raiding that like back of that semi, I'm like, oh man, that looks terrible. And I did not like Thea. I'm sorry to the actress. I thought her acting was really wooden. There's a couple scenes in this episode where I think they needed to do a retake, especially when they were clearing out that train station, and she says, "Everybody out!" I'm like, you could have like I don't know, like yelled a little bit more or something like that. I don't know. That was really weak. And then I hated how Diggle was like, "Oh, Oliver, you're so dark and all this, and you keep secrets." And then he keeps a secret like when he's like, "You said something about Hive." He's like, "Yeah, what about it?" And then we flash back, and he's like, "What about it?" He's like, "Nothing." And I'm like, "Are you serious? You're going to keep secrets? You're a hypocrite, Diggle." And
Yeah.
I definitely will agree with you on that one. That was my biggest problem with Diggle in this episode. But yeah.
I felt like the whole let's take out the chain of command, I guess you could say, happened too fast. I really didn't like that. Like that happened way too fast in the episode. I felt like that needed to have a setup, a middle, and then we could have gotten here. This feels like a final act to something where we're setting up Damien Dark. That just happened way too fast for me. Way too fast. And then some of the technical things I hated, like acting and all that. I hated the line "Green Arrow" when he's doing that speech.
That was my favorite part. That was honestly my favorite.
I want to hear this. Yeah, go ahead, Kyle.
Okay. I hated that whole speech. I like Stephen Amell. He's a great actor, and even when season 3 was bad, he was still good. I could tell he was doing 110%. That was really corny and really bad. And when you get up in front of his face and he says "Green Arrow," I went, man, he needed to do another take or something like that. That was way too cheesy, and it just felt so fan servicey, like not in a good way. Like Marvel's done that sometimes where it's really oblivious, and I hate it. And this show did it too, and I really did not like that. I don't know, like I was hoping it'd be cool because I heard Chris talk about it. I'm like, oh, cool, they said Green Arrow, and then it's just like Green Arrow. And I'm like, I don't know if I like that. And then I have a really superficial reason. When Oliver puts the new suit on, did he look fat to anybody else but me? I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm really not. But like when they do that shot where they like back up and see him in the suit, he looks really fat, like a little bit too bulky, like not muscle bulky. I'm like, man, that looks way too big on him.
I think that's more of like a padding issue because you could tell there's like more armor to the suit.
Yeah,
so maybe that was it.
Yeah, and my final thing, I hated the fight scenes in this. I hated the fight scenes in this. I don't know if it was the actors actually doing the fight scenes because Arrow, while I do think it was bad at times, has some pretty good fight scenes. This felt like maybe like the scene with Katie Cassidy when she's saving her dad. Like, that scene was really bad fighting-wise. I really don't know if she was doing the fight scene herself. And then when Oliver fights Damien Dark, I don't know, just the fighting seemed really sloppy and didn't seem shot really well to me. So that's really all I have to say, really, on this episode. I wish I could have went harder on it, but I'm not going to watch another one. It was okay, you know, but I did break my promise for this, and, you know, I did this for you guys, you know. So
I'm glad you gave it a shot at least, Kyle. Like, yeah, I respect that.
I respect that. Like, yeah, you gave it a shot. Like, I don't like where people just say I didn't like it. Yeah, you watched it. No.
Exactly. You know, I mean,
shot. I'm fine with it. You know,
Yeah, if you don't like it after you try it, then that's fine. Like even if I really like the episode, but just because you didn't doesn't mean I have to I'm gonna trash your opinion. That's your opinion, dude.
Thank you. But one thing I forgot to mention I really liked. I liked the ending to this episode where they show like 6 months later, and they show that scene with him like at that grave, and I really liked how that was shot and like who's the death. I have a couple things. I think it's either Felicity, Thea, or maybe Diggle or somebody.
Nah, I think it's Captain Lance.
I don't know. I wouldn't. I don't think Oliver would cry about Captain Lance dying. And
it has to honestly. It has to be Felicity because why would Barry care about anyone else?
Yeah, like that.
That is true.
Barry kind of gives it away. And I'm going to be devastated if it's Felicity, but Barry really does give it away when you really think about it. He's not close to anyone on Team Arrow.
Honestly, I give it the way they shot it. I mean, if you put 2 and 2 together and play Captain Obvious, it's like look at it from the standpoint of, all right, they don't show the grave, they don't show who's on the gravestone. True, that's true. However, like you said, Rick, it's look who showed up. Barry showed up. Like, why would he show up at a funeral for anybody other than Felicity?
Felicity, that's true, because he does really care about Felicity.
So, I mean,
we already did Thea. We already did the Thea.
Yeah, I don't think they would kill Thea again, because that would be kind of dumb. Because there would be no point in bringing her back with the Lazarus Pit if she dies again.
True. Yeah.
That's one thing that you got to look at it from is like, okay, I don't necessarily think it would be Captain Lance because Barry. He's never really like.
Now, I didn't really consider that too. Like that maybe, and also I'll admit part of it is my own thing of like I don't want Felicity to die, so my personal denial is like no way it's Felicity.
Now they could be purposely making it too obvious to throw us off because being that Lance is involved with Dark, what if it is Laurel?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's true.
They could be trying to make it too obvious for us and to pull the okie doke, and Barry is just there to support Oliver because of how devastated Oliver is, and that would hurt Oliver a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you make another good point because when you look at it, I mean, that would really just be really like, oh, they killed off Felicity, like. But if it is Laurel, it'd be like, whoa.
See, but my whole thing, why I think it's Captain Lance, is that I think that what's going to happen throughout the season, like what they're going to build up, is that Lance is going to really become like the Gordon to, like the Commissioner Gordon to Ollie, and really actually warm up to Ollie eventually. And then because he's actually so close to the heroes and stuff, he decides to betray Dark and sacrifice himself to save everybody.
Yeah.
And that's why he dies. And that's why Oliver is so devastated. Like, this man who hated me actually cared enough for me to, sacrifice his life so that I could continue. I need to honor him and, do better and end this. That's why I thought it was.
That Lance got into the bed with the devil, he doesn't realize how deep he got into. Because obviously there is some reason why Lance is working with Hive and Dark. We don't know the details, obviously, but I don't think Lance knows how extreme of a situation it is.
Yeah, you also look at it from that point is like, because even when it was announced that I'm like, what the fuck, Lance? Like, you over there ridiculing on Barry about look at all the monsters you brought back, but you just joined a monster. Like
exactly.
I like them. I like the
like you're talking about the devil, and you just signed a contract with the devil. Like I that did kind of annoy me at first.
I actually really like this story arc number 10 because for one, at least he has a story arc this season. Lance did not really have a story arc.
Yeah,
that's
true.
From being in the background to back to being not just the dick he was in season 1, but an uber dick. Like he was like to the extreme last season towards the end. But he really didn't have a character arc.
No, so
they're doing something with him this season.
It'd be good to have something from this season. In terms of the flashback, I love the hint, the knock or the teaser of we see an old highball Hal Jordan's jacket. I was like, oh, there it goes. You know, it was like, okay, that was cool. It was like, you know, are we gonna see Jordan in this? I don't know, but Amanda Waller coming there being the bitch that she is. I was like,
oh
yeah,
man, I know. I was like, Ollie, why would you go? First of all, why would you go to a bar with Amanda Waller? Second, why would you accept a drink from Amanda Waller?
like, you know, she. I mean, honestly, it's like, you know, she did some of that drink. I'm like, yeah. I'm hoping. The one thing I will say about this.
No, wait, real quick. I want to talk about one line that just made me laugh. Was when the freaking district attorney, she takes a sip of her coffee and she's like, I thought that tasted funny, and she fucking collapsed.
You know, it's actually kind of funny when you think about it. That if I remember correctly, the flashback he gets drugged, and then like not too long after, in the present. And there is a connection between Hive and Argus. I'm just saying. I mean,
yeah,
that was kind of funny there. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I just love how that the district attorney pulled it off. This is a look on her face. She goes, I thought that tasted funny, and then she collapses, and then Laurel's just like, somebody call 911.
Yeah, and then she's on the. Sorry.
No,
Go ahead, Kyle.
Go ahead, Kyle. What was you gonna say?
And then she's on the phone talking to Diggle, and she's like giving them orders, like she's talking at the high, like she's not whispering. She's like, "Yeah, go, help this person." I'm like,
she's like yelling. She's like, John, go get Thea. I'm going to my father right now. You need to deal with this. The district attorney just collapsed.
Yeah, and it's like, if I was one of the guys that was near the one that just collapsed, I'm like, is she like, gonna go help them? Like, what is she doing? Like, I would have followed her. I'm like, what are you doing?
Like, you're the ADA. What are you gonna do? Like, you gonna subpoena the bad guys?
I think one of the
here's one thing though. Because I'm actually kind of not totally against what Kyle said. But I think the opening was a lot better than he thinks it is. But I will say there are some problems. Like, why is it the Lazarus Pits is making Thea act like she's from season 1 again?
Actually, the Lazarus Pit thing that made sense to me because Thea's aggression and all that reminds me a lot of Jason Todd, and so that made sense as like an after effect.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about so much her aggression. Her whole personality, it reminds me of Thea from season 1.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Like, I get the aggression thing. I totally get that, and I was expecting that. I'm just talking about her general personality, like how she's talking towards Oliver, and just like how she's like, this is so much fun kind of attitude and whatnot. I like the potential of having BFFs with Laurel and Thea. I think that's a good position for Laurel to be kind of like the big sister BFF for Thea. I think they'll make a good pairing. You know what I mean? I do like the potential with that.
Especially because Laurel didn't get a chance to really be a big sister to Sarah.
Right.
So that could be a big.
They'll play that off. I think one of the other biggest concerns about this season is that the flashbacks matter. They have to have some kind of connection because personally.
Yeah, because Hong Kong did not give. I did not give a shit.
It really started to not. Yeah, like if you look at last season, the flashbacks to me, it was like, what is this really connecting to?
And it was the Omega virus, the Alpha Omega, and the backstory of the Yushiros. That was the purpose of the flashbacks. But this season is going to be the learning curve of being a vigilante because here you have, to some extent, Diggle because he's now fully on the field, Thea and Laurel. And now we're gonna see their trials and tribulations and their learning from their mistakes. And the flashback, we're gonna see Oliver learn from his mistakes and get his final training.
Yeah, and I like that Oliver had to go through these stages of going from a killer to a vigilante, and now a full-on superhero. I thought that because that makes perfect sense. Like,
makes perfect sense. And then you also look at it but I definitely agree with what Kyle, because I even said that too about Diggle. I'm like, what the hell, Diggle? Like, stop being a dick about it.
Diggle was being a dick.
I look at it. I was like, even his wife was like, it was a war. People do things in war that they're not proud of. Like, and when I look at it, I was like, Diggle, if Ali had told you that I'm going deep undercover and this is what I'm gonna do, so you gotta play along, it wouldn't have came off real.
It wouldn't have been genuine. Like, yeah, he would have been tipped off, and like, and the thing is, like, with Diggle, like, I understand why you're mad, but like, your wife, the actual person who got kidnapped, is okay with it.
But see, here's the one thing I like what they did in the episode, though. They actually gave retrospect to it. It's not what he did to Lila. It's the fact that he trusts Merlin, of all people, Merlin, over him. That's technically his feelings are hurt. Like, that's what it comes down to. The fact that after all they've been through, having this brother-like relationship, he wouldn't let him in, and he's kind of pulling the bitch card in a sense because his feelings are hurt and he can't get over it.
Yeah. And now he's being a hypocrite because he's going to keep that, and that's why I think that keeping that secret that Diggle is keeping.
That's going to bite him in the ass.
I think that's gonna, honestly, I can see that being the potential lead to the death of whoever.
Because he's like, because they said Hive, and I'm like, we remember hearing Deadshot say that, Hive. I don't know who they were, but they called Hive, and it's just like, once he said that, I was like, oh, and then...
Honestly, I kind of saw that coming, though. Like, I saw that Diggle was going to pull the secret card now, and...
Yeah.
Because he's actually done that before, when anytime he gets the opportunity to further his investigation with his brother, he always goes in that solo.
Yep. And anytime Deadshot was involved, like, Diggle never really said anything. Even when Deadshot first showed up with Oliver, it took a long time for Diggle to actually open up about that.
Yeah.
The real question also now is, especially with Damien Dark, is who is he praying to? Where is he getting his power from?
That's what I'm wondering. I'm like,
where is he getting? Who is he sacrificing his blood to? Like when you saw him just.
Oh yeah.
It was also a Chinese, like a Chinese statue too. So that.
Yeah, all right. My question, because I'm not a comic reader, is Damien Dark in the comics?
Yes.
Yeah, he is. He is an actual Hive, like, higher up, but he never had all this ability. He never had all these abilities in the actual comics. He was just kind of a suit. So
yeah, he was just a suit. He never had these supernatural powers, and I guess that's why the build-up with the supernatural they said is the reason why Constantine is going to be coming. Which
I am so excited for episode 5 because I just want to see John just be like, oh, this motherfucker.
So I have a question. Do you think, because I forget if season 1 did this, do you think that the island stuff is going to tie into the present stuff in a way of the plot, the same way like last season it was?
I think that with the island, that's where the mysticism will come in, because if you notice that statue, like I said, the statue that he had, when he was doing that sacrificial thing, it was Chinese.
Yeah, it did look Asian.
And also, Oliver says that he's dealt with stuff like this and he keeps it a secret. So we've had this for like the past 2 seasons where stuff on the island comes back to haunt Oliver, and it's to the point where Oliver just needs to write down everything that happened on the island and go, okay, this is what happened in year 4.
He needs to write a book. I want him to just write a book and just be like, all right, this is what happened in year 1, year 2, year 3, and year 4 on the island.
Yeah, this is all what happened. Please just learn from my mistakes.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, I can't see them doing the flashback
Tony,
thing.
when did you get here?
He's been here for
when I need it. Oh, that's
the thing about also, the reason they say he's going back to Ireland because he's going to meet a flashback potential love interest. That's
Carol Ferris, please let it be Carol Ferris. I
don't know who it is, but that's why. I mean, I thought it was funny that he wakes up and then the agent pulls a gun out. And he's like, "What the hell, man?"
He looks really mopey. He looked like he's like, "Nah, I gotta put this on." It's like, damn.
It was funny though. Before he got kicked out of the plane, he's like, "Is that?" Oh, yeah.
And he goes, "Wait a minute." He's like, "Where are we going?" It's like, "Wait, is that?" Oh, fuck. No.
That was cold. That was a cold piece of work right there.
That made me laugh. That made me laugh.
You know, when they straight up like kicked him, like literally kicked him out of the plane, I was laughing at that.
I was laughing. I mean, I'm not. Kyle, your opinion was that he didn't, when he gave that speech on TV. You didn't really feel it.
Yeah.
I can understand that, but for me, I geeked out so much
Yeah,
because
I really geeked out because honestly, that's like everything he said in that speech was what Green Arrow represents in the comics. Green Arrow represents the hope for the city, the chance for a light in the darkness that's supposed to represent the little guy, and just like David versus Goliath. That's everything Green Arrow has always like represented, what all he stood for. And when he said it, and he finally says the name, I squealed like a little fangirl.
Yeah, that was nice.
I'm okay with. Oh, sorry.
I kid you not, I thought they were going to cut it off, like they were going to pull an Avengers moment. Every time Cap is about to say Avengers, I was like,
if they did that, I would have been so pissed. I would have walked away, and I would have been like, no.
Jay would have killed somebody.
Yeah. He said those 2 words, I was just like, oh wow, he said it. Like, but I'm not gonna lie, it did kind of sound a little corny. Like, I am the Green Arrow. I was like,
how he enunciated was what messed it up. It's not what he said; it was how he enunciated it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You know what? The way he pronounced it, it sounded just how Seth Rogen when he said, "I'm the Green Hornet." That's
there's just some comic things that I think you just can't translate well. They naturally.
I mean, there's some actors like Chris Evans as Captain America. Captain America, I mean, has been around for a long ass time, and you know, you see in his Avengers movies and his Captain America movies, he says like 1940s lines, and they don't.
Yeah.
They work.
That's the same thing you could say. That's the same thing you could say with like Christian Bale, like when he did the classic "I'm Batman" for the first time. Like it's there. You feel Batman. Like
yeah, it's.
I think what also is it's going to be interesting to hear people actually say his name now. You know, say
I think that's also a part of why he said it like that, Kyle. Is that like, you know, he's not even 100% sure on the name itself. That's why he kind of hesitated with it. I am the Green Arrow, because he's not. You can tell that he wasn't like 100% sure with it. But I think eventually he's gonna get like more accustomed to it, and it'll like flow more naturally.
I have a question for you guys, because you know pretty much last season was a Batman story, right?
Oh
yeah. Yeah,
it
was literally Heir to the Demon, like the Batman story, Heir to the Demon.
And you know, Oliver has acted a great deal like Bruce Wayne through all 3 seasons.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now we have the opener where he talks about not wanting to be the darkness, wanting to be something else, you know, but still be a symbol, be a vigilante. Do you think the writers are listening to people that want the character to be Oliver Queen?
Yeah.
And that's reflected on this opener?
He was way more like Green Arrow in this. It's like, one thing that I really enjoyed was when he was on the train and he made a joke about like missing his stop. I was like, did he just actually make a joke? Is he smiling right now?
Yeah, you know,
Oliver doesn't have a lot of puns. Like throughout 3 seasons, he really doesn't have new puns.
Yeah.
I mean,
and he smiled. Like, I was like, oh my god, he's actually smiling while he's fighting. Like, I've never seen that in Arrow.
Because they talked about that this season is supposed to be a little bit more lighter, and him becoming more of the Green Arrow that is more of a representative of his comic counterpart. I mean, if
he's going to become more of a liberal person.
Yeah, like.
Oh God, he'll actually drive the Prius.
No, do not say that he drives the Prius. I was told
he does drive a Prius. He does.
Don't bring up the Prius. Stop talking about.
If Oliver, if he runs for mayor, then you're gonna start seeing that again, like, because in the comic, Oliver,
lighthearted tone.
Mayor, he actually became mayor of Star City. Yeah. And speaking of Star City. Yeah, like it's called Star City, and I like the reason why they call it Star City now.
Ray.
In memory of Ray Palmer, is like, which he ain't really dead, but I thought that was because when they come into the city again, you see Star City.
They showed that in the trailer too.
Yeah, so it was really cool. I was wondering, like, why are they going to change it? Because you don't just change a city's name for just no reason, and we get a reason why they change it. I'm like, okay, it makes sense.
And it's a really good reason, too, like, because Ray did a lot for the city.
Ray had a lot of plans, though, to revolutionize the city, though, too. I mean, he came in there with the total intent of bringing the city up to another level. So
so them making it Ray was fine. I had no problem with that. In terms of the fight scenes, Kyle, I will agree as well. The way I looked at Ollie when he was fighting Dark, I felt like, okay, Ollie's been probably not doing it.
Yeah, Ollie's rusty. Ollie's rusty. That makes sense.
But you gotta learn. You gotta crawl before you learn to walk again. So it's like you gotta go back to basics.
Honestly, I didn't think it's so much of him being rusty. I just thought Damien's on another level. I mean, he's got magic.
That's also another way, because he's all souped up on some kind of supernatural stuff, and I mean, Neil McDowell as playing him, just was funny because he's like, "That all you got?" And I'm like, "Okay."
I'll say this: next to Slade, I think Damien Dark has the best villain introduction in the series.
He also like one thing that I've always complained about Arrow constantly is villains lack presence, and Damien Dark had a presence.
Oh yeah, throughout the entire episode. I mean, right off the bat, this dude is a force to be reckoned with. And honestly, now we understand why Roz just couldn't go up to this fool and murk him. It's totally
there are some. There's now it's maybe understanding why he. Roz talked about it, but it was just like
Roz wasn't ready. He's on that level.
It was almost to the point like, okay, this guy got Ra's al Ghul scared. The demon head himself.
Yeah, if you're somebody that Ra's al Ghul doesn't want to fuck with, then you're definitely on a whole different level.
So
yeah. Well, I don't know I don't know. I just felt like they weren't shot well, is what I'm saying. But fight scene wise, like I think there's a scene where they're watching Damien Dark like with his recruits, like his men, and then like they come down and Oliver's fighting.
And also, like the scene that you were talking about, Kyle, with Thea. I want to kind of point out that I really like the fact that her voice changer made her sound a little bit more childlike, because that's kind of also a nod. Her voice, to me, how she sounded in that voice changer, is how I pictured Mia Dearden's voice in my head. That's how I always pictured Mia Dearden, because it's always been known that Oliver chooses child sidekicks around 13, 14. So I thought it was cool that her voice in the voice changer mask sounded like that. I thought that was a cool nod.
I will say Oliver seems off. I don't know, maybe because I haven't heard it so long. It just I don't know. It's just it's off to me.
It sounds very more Darth Vader-ish, and it's
Oliver's voice sounds deeper, and it's weird. It did sound deeper than usual.
And I couldn't hear it, and I have a surround sound on a flat screen, and it was up to 32, and I was like, "Dan, you need to speak up or something." I'm like, you need to speak up. When I can't hear someone that goes "rar rar rar," on a flat screen with surround sound at 32, and 32 on my flat screen is like in a movie theater. I can watch anything, and it sounds like I'm on a movie theater. And seriously, come on, but I'm not going to belabor the point of the action scene, but that's just me. I don't know. It just was shot.
The action scenes weren't the best. I'll admit. I think the only decent scene was probably the opening scene when they were where they were trying to the truck.
Yeah,
and
that was
with Damien and Oliver. Those were probably the only decent.
Especially comparing, this opener to the other ones we've had. Because Arrow, say what you want about Arrow, but Arrow has some of the best fight choreography, on TV.
It's only topped by Daredevil.
Daredevil.
Oh yeah.
Daredevil's fight choreography is on another level. That's movie quality shit.
Kyle, can you check the comments and see what's going on in the comment section, please?
Yeah, we haven't had anything new in a while, but Jared Flower, he was talking about, he was talking about Flash, and he says he thinks. He says that we'll just go quick past it, but I want to mention it. He says that he thinks Ronnie and possibly Ed never hurt. And then he says, what did he say? He says he really likes the lighter Tomorrow. And then we have Robbie, and he's saying, "Yo, yo, Robbie?"
Let's see. No, here's a question. I got one. He said, no, that's wrong. Okay. And yeah, he does like to fight. But I think in terms of because I really want to focus. I'm trying to focus on that 6 months later, because that's really got me like, okay.
Yeah.
I think it's either Felicity or Diggle.
It's got to be somebody, like, I mean, because the way if you listen to the dialogue, Barry comes in and he says, "I'm sorry I couldn't make the funeral," and Ollie says, "Zoom," and he's like, "Yeah," and then he says, and then he just says, "What can I do to help?" And he says, "Nothing. I'm gonna kill him." So it's like, whoa, all right, who are you talking about? And
you know what? I think, they're making it too obvious. I think it's Diggle, because take this into account. We know that Diggle is going to go one-man army on Hive at some point. That's obvious now.
Yep.
He's going to go. He's going to find out, and it's possible that Dark is, for whatever reason, the man who gave the order to have his brother killed. So we do know these things. And honestly, I can't see Oliver coming back if he loses Felicity.
I personally think it's Felicity that's dead because 6 months old.
I don't know, because I think for sure that, like, if Oliver, like I said, honestly, like, Kyle, I know you've had your problems with Felicity, but honestly, Felicity is the reason Oliver came into the light in the first place. If Oliver
well, that's what I was going to say, is he comes into the light because of her, and when he leaves that darkness behind. So he's going back to it. What happens if she's dead? He goes back to it now. There's nothing for him. I mean, we see him in that suburban life. He's going to get married. He's really happy. There's no, like, oh, I'm Oliver Queen. You know, Felicity made him happy, and it's like, I'm going to kill him. I mean, I mean, we were saying, it could be Felicity earlier. I mean, it could be Diggle. I mean, it's either one of them, because he could have the same effect, but I don't know. I think it might be Felicity, and also, you got to keep in mind, this is a Mark Guggenheim show, and he likes to do the stuff for the fans that ship this. And I bet you 100% Felicity fans will be like,
no, that's going to be huge backlash. So that's another thing where I'm kind of like discounting like the.
I mean, no, Felicity. Felicity is definitely, because I mean they're setting up to where it is Felicity. That's why I'm trying to think outside the box and think more towards Diggle. But honestly, I can't see a believable way to write it to where Oliver recovers from that loss. I can't envision a way because his character now is so codependent, not in a bad way, but he really is codependent on Felicity to.
Yeah, and also, like, I know in the comics he's supposed to end up with Dinah, aka Laurel, but there's honestly, like, for me, Laurel doesn't have a romantic chemistry with Stephen Amell, so I just couldn't see them ending up together, even if Felicity's death is supposed to be what brings them together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I mean,
it burnt that out too. Like that whole relationship went away 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I love Dinah and Ollie in the comics, but Laurel's not Dinah. I've already accepted that. Like,
he chose
Sarah over. One of the reasons why Sarah turned me off so much. It's
Sarah
because
honestly though, Tony, Laurel has like vastly improved. Like, I honestly like Laurel now. Like, Laurel
it's like
is
saying you can eat a tuna sandwich, but it's still a tuna sandwich.
No, I think Laurel's going to get better. I think Laurel's not going to be as bad. Like I said, I think that positioning her as like the big sister BFF of Thea is a good move to use her character a lot better. And obviously, she's somewhat more competent of a fighter with her training from Nisa at the end of the last season. I think Laurel's going to be more tolerable.
And also, Laurel is a much more reasonable character now. Like, she was the one that called John out on his shit. Like, look, I know you don't want Oliver to help us, but we need Oliver's help. Like, we need him.
If you looked at when they brought Ollie, who came to Ollie and Felicity's house? It was Thea and
Laurel.
And Laurel. They came. Diggle didn't come, and then when he's like, "Wouldn't you bring him here?" It was like, because we need his help, and it's like, it's to the point. It's just like that stuff like that. It was like Diggle, like, come on, man, like you need.
That's what I like too, though. Too, they brought Oliver back, but they didn't make the team look incompetent because it's obvious they were against some next level shit. Like they were over their heads, so they didn't make them look incompetent, but they definitely needed Oliver's help.
And I also really like the scene where Oliver snaps into leader mode, and he's like, Thea, hit the streets. Diggle, Laurel, do this. And he's like, oh, wait. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, he's like, oh, shit, I'm stepping on toes. No.
And what the other thing about it was that we find out that Felicity has been keeping in contact with them all the time.
Yo, when she starts listing off places, he's like, wait, did you really have food poisoning when we went to India? He's like, well, actually, I kind of did.
I found that well done. Like, it wasn't... Like,
yeah, I thought that felt very natural, because that felt like an actual, like, couples argument. Like, you know, are you really thinking that?
It's so cliche to do the typical... You know, I want to get out, but I really don't kind of thing. I'm not. No, they did it with Felicity, and I thought that was a smart move. I thought that was a much better way to do it.
And the thing that I like about like Felicity back this season is that, like, last season, I think the problem with Felicity is that they tried to force her. Like, now it seems like it's back to Felicity just being her natural charm, like her natural kind of thing that actually is what made fans really like her in the first place. So that was a nice change.
My problem with Felicity last season was her constant reactions to the whole league stuff. Like, that, I understand where she was coming from, but it just got shoved down her throats. Her disapproval.
My thing that bothered me with Felicity was the flip flopping with Ray. Like, once they cut Ray out of the picture, as much as I liked Ray, once they cut Ray out of the picture, I was like, okay, you're good.
I was able to look past that only because I've seen that so many times, especially with the CW. And I mean, that's how they do like 90% of the love triangles on their shows.
Yeah. I'll agree with that. I watch a lot of the CW, so yeah, I can definitely.
That was Laurel in season 1, where she flip flopped between Tommy and Oliver.
I mean, I didn't like Felicity with Iron Man knockoff 1. I mean, I really did not. I hated Ray.
No, I see that. I'm in the mind. I liked Ray in season 1.
I hated Ray. I like Ray
as a character. Because he is the love child of Barry and Oliver, pretty much. He has Felicity described it perfectly. It's like Oliver's body with Barry's personality.
Yeah. My favorite Ray episode though is his episode in The Flash. That Cisco Ray bromance was real.
Ray fits perfectly in The Flash. Like Ray just needs to be in The Flash. Yeah.
I don't think that at all, but I don't think he fits anywhere. I think he just needs to stay dead.
Well, you know, he's not dead. He's not dead. He's like tiny. He's like an itty bitty little person running around somewhere.
Well, I want him to be dead. Technically, I want him to be dead, so I don't have to see him.
What do you have against?
That's what I'm thinking.
What do you have against Superman, Kyle? Like, you got a problem with Superman?
Yeah, I do.
Panel size, and he's gonna like find a way to make himself grow and.
Yeah, I do have a problem.
He finally was able to, what he is namely called the Atom. The Atom was to be able to get small, go to atomic levels. That's where he is now, you know. But people think he's dead.
He's basically fighting micro-sized monsters in a
it could be like Brave and the Bold, where he's trapped in the jungle and he's like riding on top of like
Look. Ray is
in
look.
You're not in Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns universe because he was trapped in a petri dish.
Ray's just chilling. He's waiting for Rita Repulsa to throw her scepter down.
Make my monster girl.
You know, he's just
Make my monster girl.
Amazing.
that's what he's doing right now.
That would be all. I need to see that happen now. Somebody just needs to throw the scepter down, and Ray just gets big. Oh, it's time for Legends.
All
All
I
right.
know is that he needs to do that. He has to do that at least once in the reboot movie. I need to see that happen in the movie.
So but we wrapped up the show, guys, in terms of talking about the shows. But we did have some more news that I wanted to talk about.
All right.
It was announced today, in terms of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh yeah, the whole Ant-Man and Wasp thing.
Thanks a lot, Tony.
You stole the thunder.
It was announced Phase 3 has gotten bigger, and that more of the phases that the Ant-Man has gotten a sequel. This was one movie I did not expect to get a sequel.
I totally expected
I
it.
did enjoy Ant-Man. I didn't expect to get a sequel, but I thought he was just going to be in his
Popping up in other people's movies.
yeah, popping up in other people's movie, joining maybe a team or something like that.
I think that would have been a better use for him.
But now he's getting a sequel, but Wasp is coming along with him. So Evangeline Lilly is going to be back as Hope.
Yay.
So we
Yeah.
get to, and that's great.
No, see what I want. I want to see more Cassie Lang so that I can get I can like my Young Avengers
Yeah.
universe
With you,
there
Jane. I
comes
totally agree
in
with you.
because
Cassie-
Stature is my girl, man. I need Stature to happen.
The problem is also is that now that Ant-Man and Wasp is going to come out, the original date that Black Panther was going to come out, and Black
Yes,
Panther has been pushed to sometime February 16th. And I kind of like this idea that Marvel seems to they're using this kind of maybe to capitalize on Black History Month.
Yeah, I thought that was perfect because I'm like, yeah.
But
Marvel's first major African American character, so that makes perfect sense for them to put it to February.
But then, of course, they also announced that there's 3 more slots for 2020. And so, what movies are those? They haven't announced them yet. And I'm thinking
on the Black Panther thing, though, my one concern is Black Panther could end up being an afterthought because that is the doomed fate of every movie that comes out from January to March.
The after
Like that whole first part of the year kind of thing. So
yeah, I can. That is kind of the dry season for movies, but you never know. I mean, the Marvel brand itself draws.
it draws crap.
people to the seat.
I think that's
I personally think it's kind of a bad move because Black Panther is going to be in Civil War, so his movie should be shortly after to capitalize on that momentum.
Yeah, it definitely. I can definitely see that it would slow down after being so long. People might not remember him, you
Right.
know, especially if he doesn't have that big of a role in Civil War. Like if he's just here and there, people might not remember him as much.
I mean,
so,
I personally think they're using. I don't think so. I think Civil War is going to be great. I just don't think it should be. I think it's being used wrong. It shouldn't be the start of a phase. It should be the climax of a phase.
I don't agree. I don't know. I feel like at the end of Age of Ultron, we set up perfectly. I mean, we're starting the phase off with the team being separated. I mean, and you know,
But
we're
this
going to
movie
start.
is bigger than just being in a Captain America sequel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm fine with this.
because to me, the Captain America sequels have always the Captain America movies are the game changers. Like, 'cause
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Captain America 1 led to the Avengers. Captain America 2 led to Age of Ultron. Captain America 3 led to is going to lead to Civil War.
Argue that Winter Soldier had more of an impact on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. than it did on the MCU.
Well, yeah.
Technically,
But
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Winter Soldier is what made Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. actually pick up a lot of momentum.
Right.
Yeah, so I can see that point for sure.
Because like Hydra now is fodder in the movies. I mean, Hydra's a somewhat of a force in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but in the movies they're fodder.
Oh yeah.
Like, if you look at Hydra now, because they literally said it, their fundings are
Hydra got some major budget cuts.
Yeah, and Ward is basically rebuilding them with Baron von Strucker's son in Agent of Shield. But in terms of like Kyle, you just said it. You said it earlier. Like you said that Agents of Shield is like a tie-in to the MCU.
Right.
It doesn't really affect what goes on in the movies. You personally said that, and I totally kind of agree with that because you don't really see anything happening that happened in Agents of Shield that plays up. It's almost what happens in the movie kind of dictates a little bit of the series.
The only thing for Age of Ultron was that one Inhuman that had that vision of Metal Man attacking in the finale.
With Reyna. Yeah, that was it. Like that was the only part.
And of course, we get to see. And if you look at Agents of Shield before Age of Ultron, we saw them kind of give. Coulson said, "Okay, we got where Hydra is sending the event." That's kind of where that scene, with, castle scene. But other than that, you really much. And what we talked about this earlier is that as much they're playing up the Inhumans, and I've said it before, and that's my biggest fear with this them being.
Yeah, they keep pushing back the Inhumans movie, but they keep doing more with Agents of Shield.
They're really. I hope they don't oversaturate the Inhumans, especially the fact that we got a movie with them coming out. Unless they do it where they're going to do the Inhumans, but they will not touch the royal family.
That's what I'm thinking. That's
pretty much what I feel is what the Inhumans is going to be. We're not going to see Black Bolt. We're not going to see Medusa, Trigon, Karnak.
The only thing that they could get away with, and this is a stretch, but they could send down Lockjaw. And
that would be great if they showcase Lockjaw one time, like he's the one that's bringing them. This big dog. We don't really see him. You just see a shadow.
Yeah, just
the dog that can teleport, right?
Yeah, the big dog.
The big ass bulldog. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like a bulldog met a pup, but with a weird antenna on his head.
Yeah.
The way they're using the Inhumans, though, I don't know much about the Inhumans in the comics, but it seems like they're using Inhumans as their answer to mutants.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we said.
They're kind of, Ricky, they kind of are, in a sense, mutants because they're old humans. Their ancestry goes back to the Neanderthal days. The Kree came to Earth during that time, took Neanderthal men and started experimenting on them. They are the descendants of Neanderthal men that got evolved. And but in the MCU, yes, they are kind of looked at now as the equivalent of mutants. Since they can't use mutants, we'll use the Inhumans now. So
and instead of using a Terrigen bomb, they decided to do the fish oil thing to be like the massive catalyst to like spread Terrigenesis everywhere.
Yeah, so that's why I've always think that besides that Marvel has said they're going to do a half an hour show on what's that?
Damage control.
Damage control. Yeah,
and they're apparently making that like a comedy.
Yeah, comedy with damage.
Oh, that works. That works, I guess.
Who would you get for characters in Damage Control?
No, but that's the weird part because characters involved in Damage Control were involved in like the Defenders because you had like Luke and Danny and Jen up in there.
Yeah.
And
I don't know how you're gonna do it, but they're gonna damn well try.
We'll see what they do. I mean, they can. It's the MCU. It's not the comics. They can.
You could get somebody. You have to get somebody like really, really low list. Like maybe you could get like the Guardian, like as Tony Stark's one of Tony Stark's people working Damage Control
I would personally, for me, I would want to see maybe Ben Foster on there because he was part of Damage Control for a while. But I don't know if they want to make it a comedy is different. But they also talk about there's another untitled series they want to work on. And
Oh yeah, we were talking about that. It's a full-on superhero show. It's supposed to be like a full half-hour one, and I was thinking maybe Runaways because that's something that they've been talking about for years now. Runaways.
Maybe Kamala Khan could be. That'd be really interesting.
No, see, I want that, but they need to do the Captain Marvel movie first.
Right. That's right. Yeah, they gotta do that first before she can become Ms. Marvel.
Because she can't be inspired by Carol if Carol doesn't exist.
That'd be funny. Like, oh, like I'm gonna expire.
I know Kyle wants. He wants Jessica.
Oh no, yeah. Kyle wouldn't shut up about what he wanted. Kyle is like,
But the thing is that it's plausible to do it because let's face it, Spider-Woman really has real ties to the Spider-Man family.
And especially because of her connection to Bobby, you could easily be like, yeah, I was in the Shield Academy with Bobby, and we were friends.
She has more ties to the Avengers and Shield. So
yeah, and also if we can give a show to Coulson, who in the movies didn't have a character, why can't we give a show to Jessica Drew, who has a character in the comics, who is a really fascinating character?
You know where they could put Jessica Drew also? That would be really cool if they made a Sword TV show and she was up there.
Yeah.
I've always said that. I said that right now. I said I feel that Sword. It would be so proper to put Sword after Thanos invades. Like, we need a.
They need Sword after that.
Oh,
I got a good idea. In Age of Ultron, Tony talks about the end game, kind of, which is one of his reasons for creating Ultron, where with the galactic, what happened in the first Avengers, aliens coming down. So maybe what happens if he created Sword in his downtime?
That would be cool because if you think about it, like Tony was director of Shield in the comics, maybe they could flip it and be like he's the director of Sword.
Yeah, and then you can have like people like all those
Abigail Brand, and then Jimmy Chu, and
Jimmy Woo, as you mean.
Yeah, Jimmy Woo. Yeah.
They. Hold on. I saw Robbie say something. It's crazy that they've announced a budget for the Avengers Infinity.
$1 billion.
Yeah. $1 billion, right? Like.
Damn. But
man, the Russos have a lot of toys to play with.
Yeah, like I said, one of our friends, Callum, he's a little bit worried about Civil War because we don't know how these guys are going to write all the other character sites. Cap. So I can't wait for Civil War, but Civil War is the movie where I got to see how they write.
But what I'm saying with Infinity War though, all I'm saying is I need Thanos to just start breaking people's necks. Like Thanos better not just be one of these write-off villains. You have two freaking.
I want Thanos to walk up to Vision and just rip that shit out of his head and be like, next.
No. What Thanos needs to do is the scene from Infinity Gauntlet where he snaps his fingers and people just disappear.
Yeah.
We talked about that. I think we talked about this, Jay. Is like, look, if you look at the overall view of the MCU, especially villain-wise, the villains have not been portrayed very well.
No,
that's one of the universe's biggest Achilles heels is the villains.
Yeah, they're either dead and bland or alive and bland.
Yeah.
Or Loki. Or Loki.
Loki is extremely overrated.
Look at mostly everybody just talks about who's the best villain in MCU. They'll say Loki.
Daredevil, Kingpin, and like Loki. I don't consider him as the best. I just consider him as the one that has actual personality.
No, honestly, I really like the fucking what's his name, the guy from Iron Man 1.
Oh, Stain was alright.
Stain was cool.
He had no presence as Ironmonger.
As Ironmonger, he was just there he was Ironmonger for the finale.
I mean,
but throughout the movie, when you find out that he was like I was like, yo, this dude is ruthless.
Well, he is ruthless. He's basically one of those corrupt businessman characters that wanted to take a golden opportunity.
He was basically fat Lex Luthor. That's what he was.
I think the biggest ball drop though was Red Skull. Red Skull.
Oh, no.
Red Skull was the big waste.
Should have been.
Red Skull.
No. Waste.
No, you know what? Ricky, I will totally agree with that because when it comes to Red Skull, I'm like, when you think about Captain America, his quintessential villain,
like his arch nemesis is Red Skull. I agree with you guys.
And that's also that like Red Skull is on the same level as people like Doctor Doom and Magneto. They are the linchpin villains for like.
And you get an actor with the magnitude of Hugo Weaving.
Yes, a perfect actor. And the role was perfect, yet the way he acted, no.
You know who I think could play a good Christoph Waltz could do a perfect Red Skull, I think. And you know how they could do it? They could even say in Civil War that the secretary. You know how Johann Schmidt became like a secretary.
Yeah.
He's working in the government. They could do that, and they could have Christoph Waltz show up, and he's the Red Skull. That would be dope.
And then the point of it is that now the whole time with these movies, we've done 2 phases of this, completed 2 phases. They've been building up one guy, the Mad Titan. You don't mess around with this guy. This guy
he murders indiscriminately.
Also, you got to remember, we're forgetting about, Winter Soldier and Age of Ultron when we're saying villains. I mean, the villains in Winter Soldier, they're good. They're really good. Like, they're written really well.
Crossbones I really like. I'm glad Crossbones is coming back.
Now, I'm not going to lie. Frank Grillo, who played Rumlow, a.k.a. Crossbones, was really good.
Yeah.
I still think he could probably pull off a good Punisher, too. But he was a good Crossbone, and I'm glad you see him back, kind of more in his traditional look. I mean, not too much, but yeah. And Sebastian Stan, when he became...
I really like Sebastian Stan as Bucky.
I thought he was good.
Yeah, that was really good.
I thought he was great as Bucky, Winter Soldier. I mean, in the first movie, when we saw Bucky, I was like, okay, I like the vibe that they're going with this. Bucky is like, he's kind of the older brother to Steve. They're best friends instead of the vice versa, where it was Steve being the mentor to
Yeah, and
Bucky.
I also with Winter Soldier, something that I liked that I thought was like really subtle but really well done, which is why I had a problem with Bruce and Nat's whole thing. I like the subtle hints at Nat and Bucky, like that was passed like really, really subtly in Winter Soldier. That's why I'm thinking in Civil War that better happen. I better see that happen.
It looks like the whole search for Bucky though is going to be off screen.
I probably will be, but like I want Bucky himself to actually be definitely more of like an active like force.
But it's also what he said, because he's also said straight up that he doesn't want to take up the mantle of Captain America, and Chris Evans has come out and say straight up he wants to continue this role.
And, you know what? Let Chris Evans keep being Cap, because there's nobody else.
I think Chris Evans is the best actor in the MCU when it comes to their roles. I think he's better than Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark even.
I clearly said right off the bat when they announced Chris Evans as Cap, I said that is a perfect role. He's going to nail the character. You get the first Avenger, and he nails Steve Rogers' character so well, and you see him throughout the
even from the beginning, like one of his beginning lines, he's like, are you a soldier? He's like, no, I'm just a kid from Brooklyn. And I'm like, yes, there.
Look at when Dr. Einstein basically says, so you want to go over and kill some Nazis? I don't want to kill anybody. I just don't like. I'm like, that's Steve right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's Steve. Exactly. He doesn't want to kill, but and I do agree. Like Chris Evans to me is probably is better than Robert Downey Jr. in my opinion. I like Robert Downey Jr. as Tony because to me, he nails that role as Tony
Oh
Stark.
yeah, he does. He definitely.
He was born to play Tony Stark. He even has he even like naturally grew the Tony Stark beard. Like that's how you know this dude was meant for.
I mean,
let's look at it from also another point of view: is the fact that this was his comeback role.
Yeah, Iron Man saved his career.
Exactly. Iron Man saved his career. It's because he was always what was we always hearing from Robert Downey? Always in rehab. He got into another fight or something like that. He's getting another divorce. It was like, yo, this guy can't catch a break. He gets casted as Iron Man. It saved his career and put him back on the map. So now when you look at all the characters that have come in the MCU, I look at Chris Evans' Cap. He nails the role. I like
Hemsworth as Thor. I honestly think his portrayal of Thor. I like his personality, but I still stand by Thor is way too damn weak.
Thor is the strongest person in the MCU.
This is what happens when you have lackluster movies to show off Thor's world. This is the one critique I have with the MCU. Thor's part of the MCU is utter weak sauce. Weak sauce.
Because like the thing with me, right? Like Thor is literally a god. Like Tony Stark should not be able to stand up to Thor.
Yeah, even though they may take the ultimate approach to dampening Thor's powers, no. Why in the name of God did you have to make?
Even with
weak.
Even with vibranium, there's as much as I love Cap, even with vibranium, there's no way he should still be standing after being hit.
Everybody questions that scene. Like, I think the MCU version of Thor is very weak in comparison. You know, they don't even classify him as a god. They say he's a demigod. It's like, okay, so he's Hercules then. MCU Herc is super strong, and it's like, so why? But that's why when you look at it now, they've said it. Kevin Feige said that
I can't wait for Captain Marvel.
Once Carol Danvers comes out, she will be the strongest and most powerful character in the MCU.
And the thing that really gets me excited for Carol is the fact that what they said was that Wanda's character template and her effect template for her moves was the original outline they were going to use for Carol, but they cut Carol out.
It was rumored that when we saw like the New Avengers and when Wanda came down, that was supposed to be Carol. And
which I'm fine with because it's really weird because it would like they had Spider-Man and Carol. That was Josh Whedon wanted to put on a team. It would have been like really awkward. Like everyone that's on that team was in that movie. It'd be like really awkward. Like you have Carol and Spider-Man. Like, where were they in the rest of this movie? Like they're just there. And they can be added later, which is fine. Like because I mean Spider-Man's movie and Carol's movie is before Infinity War, so I'm fine with that. It would have been cool, but I mean.
What also makes it good, Colin, we talked about this too before, is like now that Spidey is officially kind of part of the MCU, his world now broadens, and those characters also are.
Yeah, and like we said in the Spider-Man talk, we can finally get like Hammer and the Dark Reign story and some really cool stuff with villains.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really looking forward to Doctor Strange's edition because I think that's gonna.
Man, over that movie.
Man, because once you finally train Wanda and she knows what she's doing, oh my God, it's gonna be
strange. And I've told people this before. We've seen the Earth side, we've seen kind of the space side with Guardians and stuff like that. You bring in the Sorcerer Supreme. Now you're bringing in supernatural side.
That's the true sense of magic.
And we have Ghost Rider back, and got Blade.
And I instantly said there are ways that Doctor Strange could be the birth of bringing back those characters. You could easily say Doctor Strange was fighting the demon Zarathos, and to defeat it, what did he do? He put it in some sort of a
You
vessel.
put it in the motorcycle.
Yeah, and it could easily explain that. I've said that they're talking about, Wesley Snipes has been talking to bringing back Blade into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I would totally be fine with Wesley Snipes
I'm
taking it.
behind that
Because,
100%.
some motherfuckers just keep trying to skate uphill. You just like.
I've said it before. Doctor Strange is going to be the birth of all those supernatural characters again. I mean, I would literally say that he could be the birth of vampirism on Earth again. Like, they could easily say vampires come from another dimension because they said Doctor Strange is really going to be tapping into the dimensions.
And even Thor's constantly hinted at that, like like magic is just science that you can't explain type of thing, and I'm honestly okay with that.
Yeah.
Like, remember what he said
I
about
don't want them to do that with Doctor Strange. I want it to be straight up magic.
Well,
Not-
I
don't
do
want
want
them
it
to
to.
do what they did with.
I do want it to be straight up magic, but like what I mean is like what Chris was saying, that everything, like, you don't necessarily have to be like say that vampires have always existed on Earth, saying like maybe they're from a different dimension or whatever, and like werewolves are from.
Blade movies, though, they took a scientific approach to vampirism.
Yeah, they did. They took a scientific approach to it. But honestly, I've looked at it like this. There are some characters, and Kyle, you've heard me talk about this too, is like there's some characters that are made for the cinematic world, and there's characters that are made for the Netflix series. Blade, to me, is made for the Netflix series.
I can agree with that.
Blade
Yeah.
is definitely made for a character like Moon Knight. Made for
Moon
the
Knight would be perfect.
for
Yeah, for
Netflix.
Netflix.
He's another character that I feel that should come out around the time after Doctor Strange, because now you're getting into deities with Moon Knight. You're getting into the Egyptian god of vengeance and the moon, Khonshu. It's like this guy was brought back to life to be this god's avatar, and he's a guy that does not pull punches. It's like this guy gets.
And also, let's not forget the fact that he's batshit crazy.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
let me see. I don't like that too much because that wasn't really addressed in the early days of Moon Knight until Bendis got on it, and then that's when it really started. They really started to play up his multiple personalities, because most of the time it was just that he was just a really good deep undercover guy. I mean, this guy was an ex-boxing champ, ex-mercenary, ex-CIA operative. And so he had different roles, and he had different alter egos that he would use. He was a little bit like Batman to some degree, but he was not. But like I said, he's another character that should be more of a Netflix series.
Yeah.
Even though they've said that the Netflix actors have a contractual agreement to appear in the movies, and that's why I think who said it best. The superhero show, the hero from the superhero show, Augustine and all them, they said it best, which I actually like what he said. He said it's not we probably won't see them, but we'll probably see them in Infinity War somewhere. Like we'll see them, the Defenders defending, New York or something from the invading.
Ooh, yeah, like that would.
You see them like we'll cut to see what's going on Earth.
It'd be kind of like. Oh, sorry.
You cut on Earth, like maybe Shield is on trying to defend what's left of Shield is finally trying to defend Earth from Thanos' forces, and Cap is like saying, Hill, what's going on Earth and everything. We're trying to handle it, Cap. You cut back to Maria, and she's showing, and you won't believe him, but there's these 4 individuals, and you see Daredevil, wow, you see Luke, you see Iron Fist, you see Jessica Jones, and they're helping us. They call themselves the Defenders, wow, and then just easily a quick shot, and you go back to what's going on with.
I honestly see, and if we're going back to Netflix, I mean, I will always say this: I love Spider-Man, and I'm glad he's getting the movie. But really, like, if you want to really, really utilize Spider-Man to his fullest potential, give him a Netflix show.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that one, Jay.
Yeah, I've always said that, but he's such a iconic character.
That's and he makes a lot of money.
But
I mean, I think that's the main reason they're not giving him a show is because he makes a lot of money and a lot of merchandising. But really, the nature of Spider-Man's character, how episodic all his stories are, perfect for TV.
Oh yeah,
exactly,
for sure.
Which is why he always translates so well into animation. Pretty much every animated series except for Unlimited has been decent to great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I didn't like the current Spider-Man series.
I hate that series.
But it grew on me a bit. It grew on me.
The current season isn't as bad as I had expected it to be. When you take it for what it is and it's meant to get kids into comics, then it's fine. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah,
I don't like it because
I agree with Robbie. Yeah. In terms of villain-wise for the new Spider-Man series, yeah, I do want to see Vulture. I'm not gonna lie, I do want to see the Vulture.
I've been wanting to see Kraven for the longest time.
Kraven is my top pick, but my second
I want Mysterio. That's what I want.
Oh, yeah, Mysterio is my second. That's what I was about to say. Mysterio is my second, and Kraven would be my top choice.
I think for me, Kraven, I want Kraven really bad. I've been very much vocal about Kraven, but I really would like him to be built up, build Kraven up. He's been watching, he's watching Spider-Man, he's been watching or hearing news about this, Perfect Hunt. I can go after this guy.
Yeah, that's what exactly. You can't start off with Kraven. Let Spider-Man get some reputation to himself, and then Kraven.
Like what I said, I really like the idea that what the Spider-Man 2 video game introduced, with Kraven kind of being the Ra's al Ghul, and he trains Peter so that he'll have a fair fight and a fair hunt, and gives him the skills to be a hunter, so that it would be a really cool kind of twist on Kraven's character.
I also think is that Fishbowl Head. Yeah, Fishbowl Head. I would love to see Mysterio.
Man, as much as I give Mark Millar crap, Mark Millar proved that Mysterio can be a force.
Yeah, that is one thing I will. Yeah, a lot of people. If you look at Mysterio over time, a lot of people have said they're not a big fan of Mysterio. But once he was injected into Old Man Logan, that's where people were like, "Ooh, yo, this is a Spider-Man villain? Damn, look what he made Wolverine do." It was like, whoa. People took a different look at it.
It's like, holy shit, Mysterio just made Wolverine slaughter the entire X-Men team.
So I definitely would like to see Mysterio. Vulture is another one because the way I would do Adrian Toomes is do it more of his I don't want to see Spider-Man beating up a senior citizen. Okay, I don't want to see old man Adrian Toomes. I wouldn't mind seeing he's actually able to like how he did in the comics and the show where he was able to leech off of people and get younger.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the energy vampire thing?
Honestly, the way I would see it, how I would interpret Adrian Toomes, is that make him someone in his 40s.
I honestly would I know people are probably tired of the CGI animalistic type of thing. I wouldn't mind Ultimate Vulture, to be honest. Where he actually transforms into an actual avian type creature.
I do not want that.
No, you know what I like? I like the. Has anyone played Web of Shadows?
Yep.
Yeah.
That Vulture suit was pretty badass.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Falcon suit from the.
You said we need Hobgoblin.
I like Kyle's idea of the Harry Osborn building up a Harry Osborn Hobgoblin versus Norman Osborn Green Goblin, and seriously, if we get Goblin, don't let it be till later, and let it be Ultimate Goblin so it'll be scary as shit, and none of that Power Ranger crap.
Exactly, we're not doing Goblin in his traditional costume. The first one we did was a Power Rangers like costume. The second time we did it, it was with Harry and Spider-Man 3, and it looked like he was a snowboarder that got abducted by aliens and then came back to fight Peter. And then
No, he looked like a snowboarder that was in a car accident. Like Harry's face was all kinds of fucked up. Like,
and then Amazing Spider-Man 2, he looked somewhat Goblin like crackhead. And I'm like,
no. What did I say last time? What was it? Goblin on meth? Like,
Yeah. Meth head Goblin. That's
meth head Goblin.
I want a properly done black costume suit leading into Venom.
Oh yeah,
that's what I want.
We talked about it, guys, Kyle and Jay. We talked about now that the Spider-Man is in the Marvel Universe, cinematic universe, we can easily do the symbiote. You know, now explain more of a backstory with that, especially in terms of like, what did we say? We was like the way it would easily be done is, yeah, the symbiote's been around for years, and
or even like when the Guardians show up to fight Thanos, like maybe get attached to their ship, or like
maybe like in Infinity War, because I'm assuming I think we all can assume Spider-Man's going to be there. Maybe we can
it could be like like Kyle said earlier, like it could be like with Secret Wars, where like the symbiote shows up during Infinity War.
What was the other one we said? We was like that it was on the moon, that maybe John Jameson brings it back.
Oh yeah,
we were like,
this is how
we were like, because please, if they do the symbiote again, we don't want to just fall out of the sky.
Yeah,
The first one, of course, is the reintroduction of Spider-Man. We don't need his origin story per se, but just like his status quo, I'm your neighbor's friendly hood Spider-Man. He fights a big villain, and at the end of the movie, we get set up for the Black Symbiote. But we also, through that movie, are also introduced to Eddie Brock. In the second movie, you do the black costume stuff, and you further develop Eddie Brock. The third movie is full-on Venom. Like, Venom is the main villain of that movie. And that's how I would see doing it, like in a trilogy.
Yeah, I would also really like a lead up to Agent Venom afterwards, because Agent Venom is really cool.
I think that's what we most of us we want. Flash as Venom.
Yeah, because as much as I love Eddie, it's Eddie's classic. Eddie will always be Venom to me, but like Eddie's kind of one note. I'll destroy Spider-Man. I'm gonna kill Spider-Man. Blah blah blah. Ruin everything he loves. But Agent Venom has so much more depth. You could do a lot more with Agent Venom than you could with actual Venom.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
Flash. Really, he really took that character of Venom and kind of made it his own now. It's like to the point where you look at, it's hard to now say who's the better host for the Venom symbiote. And now look at Flash. It's like he's character. I mean, he actually upgraded it to the point where
now that Venom is under
he knows the real story behind the symbiote. That's not even. First of all, it's not even their real name anymore. It has a real name, and it's like
it's a Clintar.
Like Clintar, the Clintar, and we find out that the symbiote is really a peace-loving organism. Like they bond with, and the way when they bond with you, it's almost to the point they meld with you perfectly. There's just been some cases where there have been not some melding perfectly because of the host's dominant personality takes over. So hence that's why it explains why Carnage was kind of cuckoo and stuff like that, and all the other nuts and stuff because of that. But I think that we could see Venom sometime. I would love to see it. I mean, they keep saying that the Sinister Six movie is still a go.
I hope not.
That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen.
Not really a Spider-Man
villain that I want. Personally, the first villain that I want this new Spider-Man film to debut, I want Matt Gargan to be.
Yeah,
that's what we talked about too.
Yeah, we said Scorpion. We even threw a Hydro Man in there. One
Hydro Man was the one I wanted. Hydro Man I want because
Yeah.
Hydro Man is so cool.
But,
And you could throw Hydro Man onto the Thunderbolts and it would make perfect sense.
But,
Because
we threw in Hydro Man because it was like, we also looked at it, Tony, from a point of view, it was like the characters that have been used that can get another second chance. And we literally said, no more Goblin, no more Green Goblin, please. Unless they do something else that will make us wow, because we talked about.
also, wait, since we're talking about goblins really quick, like, I wonder if they can really do Phil Urich now, because, Ben is dead, so, like, what could they do Phil?
Oh,
no.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Oh, no.
So, wait, because Phil Urich was Ben Urich's nephew, right?
yeah, exactly.
They could pull it off, but I doubt they will do him. But
but if you really want to hear us talk about Spider-Man, go watch that video we did.
watch it.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours long. We spent a long time talking to.
Yeah, it's a good video, and it's kind of funny. We were talking about TV shows, and then we went into the MCU. So I was like, why don't we just make like like a prediction videos for MCU, like onwards? And I would like to do, I guess maybe the fans, if they want, we could maybe Jay and Chris and everybody else, we do a retrospective on like the first 2 phases of the MCU and the TV shows, maybe.
I could definitely do a look back on MCU because I mean,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I would.
I agree to that.
You know what? The thing about the MCU that I want, and I think Spider-Man is going to be the big push for it, is the fact that since they're going back with Peter being young as a teenager now, as a grown up, like a teenager going through the life of being a hero, I would like to see more teenage heroes, and that's why I would love to see them do the New Warriors. I would love to see them do the New
And
Warriors.
you know what? I would actually like Pete to be on the New Warriors. Maybe throw in like Rich Riders, Robbie Speedball, and even like maybe throw in like I don't know, like Cloak and Dagger, like have like maybe closer to the Ultimate versions of Tiny and Dandy.
I would love to see them. In terms of, because somebody asked me this once before about Netflix series, like characters you would like to see. I've said Moon Knight.
Night Thrasher could be good. I would like to see Dwayne.
We're probably going to get a Punisher. We're probably going to get a Punisher.
Sure. If we're going to be introducing him in Daredevil Season 2, why not give him his own show?
They're probably going to give him his own show. I feel that since Misty Knight is going to be introduced in Luke Cage's show, and I have this strong feeling that Colleen, her sister in crime, Colleen Wing, will
be in Danny's show.
And she spin them off into the Daughters of the Dragon. That'd be perfect right there. And you can explain where, and then maybe that's where you can go where Misty gets her metal arm.
They already said in Misty's description that she gets the arm from Tony. So.
Oh, see, right there. Okay. Let's see who else I think should deserve a Netflix series. I said Blade, Ghost Rider. I think he deserves a Netflix series instead of a movie.
I can agree with you there.
I tried to rewatch the Ghost Rider movies once before.
Oh God!
I just couldn't watch it.
Someone alone.
I was like,
it is an assault to the mind and eyes.
I feel so bad. I feel so bad for Nick Cage because he really does love the character of Ghost Rider.
And the thing about it also is that I want to see real Blackheart. I want to see the real Blackheart. I want to see this giant black predator-like demon looking down with red eyes at Ghost Rider, whoever it is, Johnny Blaze or Dan Kench. I really don't care.
And actually, that's another thing with Doctor Strange. If we're going back to Doctor Strange, we could get a real Mephisto.
Yeah. We can get Mephisto. Yeah. We can get Mephisto in there. We can get Sean McGrath. We can get Nightmare.
A giant eyeball with
giant eyeball. Like that guy's creepy. I don't like Sean McGrath.
But I think with Doctor Strange is definitely they're gonna build up. They're definitely gonna build up Dormammu. So
he better be built up. Like that's something that the Avengers could take on alone. I
I would want to see a Thunderbolt series. I would really like to see that. I think, but then people would probably say, "Oh, see, this is just trying to be like Suicide Squad." The difference.
Oh, I think that the Thunderbolts is more Expendables than Suicide Squad is.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
Here's the difference between the Thunderbolts and the original Thunderbolts and the Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad didn't want to change who they are. That's why they had the mini bombs put in their head. The original Thunderbolts were villains, were former villains that wanted to change.
I honestly I would like to see maybe later on if they don't do like a Defender sequel, if they do Luke Cage's Thunderbolts, because that would be cool. I like Luke Cage's Thunderbolts.
And I think another character that kind of deserves, if he doesn't get a movie himself, he definitely should get a Netflix series at least.
Who's that?
I think Sam Wilson should.
I don't.
That's what
I feel like Anthony Mackie's like too big of an actor to do TV though, so
Well,
I don't know.
But there may also be the possibility that.
Did you hear that Red Wing is actually going to be in?
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Red Wing finally.
He's going to be a drone though.
Yeah, more technically advanced. But I'm like, okay, that makes
Care?
I mean, that's cool. That's cool because I mean, Sam's not going to get attacked with the Cosmic Cube and get the ability to talk to birds. So.
Because that would be hilarious.
Yeah, but I mean, with Sam Wilson's cool, but I don't think he's that interesting to hold like a 13 episode.
I'm going to push this till the day it happens or the day I die, whichever comes first. Young Avengers.
I will agree with you with the whole Young Avengers thing as a fellow fan, but how would you?
I've already talked about how this is going to be set up because this is how I honestly
lay it on
me.
Jay.
Okay, so Cassie is about like what 5 or 6 years old, right?
Yeah.
So, down the line, eventually, like when the heroes are getting old. Eventually, Cassie will be a teenager. All right, so we have Cassie. So we have her set up. So next one we could have is Iron Lad. So we already know Dr. Helen Show exists because of Age of Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
Amadeus shows up, the kid genius. He could be smart enough to be like, oh, Tony Stark built this shit. Let me do some reverse engineering, and I'm gonna make my own suit.
I'll go with that.
And then we got Iron Lad.
Okay, how would you do Speed and
Speed and Wiccan is a little bit tricky. I don't think you'd go on the full-on Mephisto deal, but I still think you could do, especially if Wanda trained under Steven. I think she could still do that whole magic. I'm gonna create children from the essence of, let's say, like Wanda pulls the power of Vision's soul gem with her own chaos magic. She can create life because the Vision's power is derived from life itself. She could create new life from magic and the power of the gem.
Okay.
So you get Wiccan and Speed.
Okay, but what about Kate Bishop?
Yeah.
Kate Bishop I've talked about. Like, what if Kate Bishop is Kate Bishop Barton? And she's his daughter, Hawkeye's daughter, that we see in the movies.
Okay, so you're gonna basically say that one of his kids becomes.
We see that he has we already see that he has a little girl, so.
Yeah.
And they didn't name her, so.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know what the wife's maiden name is, so.
Well, it's Laura. Oh, wait, yeah, no, maiden name, yeah, sorry. It's weird you're talking about Young Avengers, Jay. And that's a great idea. I had one as well for some odd reason. I was thinking about.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The only one that I'm having trouble with for real is Eli.
Yeah, like how would you do Eli Bradley? Yeah, like.
Because there's always the possibility of Dr. Erskine did do those preliminary tests on the expendable African American soldiers.
Oh, so we take the Tuskegee Airmen rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we find out about it, and then like maybe like Haley Atwell's always connected to the MCU. Maybe we find some hidden files that Haley did get rid of the blood for Steve, but somehow maybe she finds some hidden records of Erskine and his Tuskegee Airmen, and she tracks down some of the descendants of these people, and then Steve is like, oh my God, there are more people with this, some of my abilities. I mean, I need to go find this guy. So he finds, Isaiah, and then he goes to Joshua, and then he finds out this kid Eli has, similar abilities, but it could possibly kill him. So Steve obviously would bring the kid in and be like, look, I'm gonna, I'll take you to Tony. We'll try to figure out ways to slow down this serum or maybe perfect it so that it won't kill you, and I'm gonna show you how to use these abilities. Gives him his own shield. Or it could even be Bucky. Bucky could be like, you know what, like I'll help you out, so it won't hurt you, and I can help you master these abilities. I've watched Steve throughout the years. I know how to handle this.
So basically, I can also see the point where which would be a funny scene is where if you do it where Steve says I'll get you your own shield, and he just takes the shield from the man of the museum that he took the suit from.
Yeah.
Like, here you go.
Yeah, especially because like the first shield that Eli uses is the one that give him during the Civil War. Yeah.
So it'd be kind of
And then
funny.
there's one more character that we're forgetting here.
Oh, the Vision, the other Vision from the beginning.
I think we're forgetting Hulkling.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Teddy.
Hulkling. He could be a Kree. Yeah, Teddy could be a Kree. Like, you don't need to be a Skrull. He could be a Kree.
Just
He could be a Kree.
well, how would you explain the shape-shifting abilities, though?
I mean, I don't necessarily think. I mean, he could either be a Kree or he could be an Inhuman shapeshifter. Like, he could be an Inhuman with the ability to shapeshift. Still have the same personality.
That's not bad. Because
the only thing is he wouldn't be green, or maybe like the after effect of his Terrigenesis is his skin turns green.
Or what if he just is a big fan of the Hulks and he's just
yeah.
I can be big. I can make myself big like that guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He could do that, and that would be awesome. And you still have
there's
that.
a guy that because I really wanted to save my piece on that. I really want another Hulk movie. I'm not gonna lie about that.
Yeah, everybody wants another Hulk movie, and
I want a She-Hulk Netflix series, because She-Hulk Netflix series could be like Ally McBeal meets Law and Order SVU. And tell me that doesn't sound awesome.
That does.
I mean, she is a lawyer, and it'd be easy because I think we all want Jennifer in the MCU somewhere.
Honestly, for me personally, she's always been cooler than Bruce for me. Like, as I love the Hulk, but she's always cooler than Bruce.
And it's always been you can always say that we're Hulk, where Bruce is, like he's with his cousin somewhere, and when she got shot somewhere, he needed to give a blood transfusion, and he did, and she became this Jade Glamazon that we know and love.
Oh, man.
Wanting to see a Hulk movie, it's Universal's fault because they play ball with movies. We'll let you make a movie. We'll let you put Hulk in there.
That's the same thing with Namor, because God, I want to see an Invaders movie so bad. Oh my God.
Doesn't happen all the time.
And it's also the fact that I just think that they don't really want to do a Hulk movie again, because the problem with Hulk that Josh Whedon even says is the audience. It's kind of hard. I'm going to paraphrase him.
Especially because he can't speak in full sentences.
That's the problem, and that's the problem I have with his.
And that's what I had. What Chris said in his review for Age of Ultron. I hated the grunting thing. Like, speak.
Yeah, it's like I don't like just Hulk. Like, if there's a Hulk I want. See how they did Hulk on Earth's Mightiest Heroes? That's
great Hulk.
Or even like, honestly, I like Doc Green. Doc Green is the shit. Doc Green is like one of the coolest interpretations of the Hulk I've read in a long time. Like
Yeah.
like that. If you put that into a movie, that would be cool.
I mean, they have also, I mean, with Incredible Hulk, it's like they've forgotten all about the leader. I mean, the leader's there. He's
I mean,
been up,
and
and they
also
don't touch
like
him.
the thing with the Hulk though, like they don't even know what to do with him in the comics. Like it's for real. Like it took a lot of effort. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
until Peter David came along that like the Hulk actually became a relevant character.
Again.
And it's
Yeah.
also the fact with Hulk that I think, and I was about to say this, but Josh Whedon, I'm going to paraphrase. It's very hard to make a Hulk movie because the audience is always just waiting for him to change. Like you're with them, like Bruce, waiting for him to change to get to the action scenes, and that's why they're there. It's not like in Avengers where they're there for the story, and yes, Hulk smashing. It's just hard to make a Hulk movie. Period. I mean, Incredible Hulk is the lowest making movie. I mean, in the MCU so far.
It's also to the point where, Hulk is just that character. Like you said, if you look in the Incredible Hulk, they build up the leader. It's like.
And also with Hulk, I think the problem with Hulk's story structure is we've seen this type of story before, like the reluctant monster type of thing. So it's kind of like audiences might be tired of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and also, I mean, because mostly what you hear fans talk about is we want to see Planet Hulk storyline or we want to see World Hulk.
World War Hulk. There's no way you can do World War without the Illuminati.
And me and Malcolm were actually talking about, like, how could you do World War Hulk where he's not really done as much damage as he's done in the comics? Because if you look at Hulk in the MCU, Bruce has been somewhat in control of his changes. Like, he can change at will. He's not going around damaging towns and stuff. He's not a threat too much.
The only time we've seen that happen is when he just tried to mess up Johannesburg.
Yeah, that was it. But other than that, he's always been really under fire, and he's always been very cool and calm about it.
Yeah,
but
and
that's saying a World War Hulk. No, but when you think about maybe a Planet Hulk, it's still plausible, but then it's still like, but this is not the Hulk from that series to do it, because he still just grunts and he'll say maybe 2 syllables and it's like, that's it. Like, what?
And also with World War Hulk, Civil War is kind of the only movie I really want them to just focus on superheroes fighting each other. Like I just want one movie of that. I don't need 3 more. It's like I don't need World War Hulk where the Avengers.
And besides, why do you need Hulk to be a bad guy? Like,
you see that end credit scene with Tony and General Ross, and it's like, what if I told you, we were gonna, put together a team? And I heard a lot of people say before Avengers came out that there was rumors that before Josh Whedon came on to Avengers, it was going to be the Avengers going after Hulk. And then when Josh Whedon came on, it changed completely. And I'm so tired of we got to stop the Hulk. I see that all the time in the comics. It's cool in the comics, yes.
I'm just tired of the fact that everybody just feels like they need to attack the Hulk because he's big. I
like the fights with Hulk that Hulk gets in the Avengers. I like the Thor one with Hulk in the first Avengers. I like Iron Man in the Hulk one and the second one. I just don't think we need a whole full-on movie of
Thor and Hulk have always had that cool rivalry that I like, where they just like to fuck with each other.
But that's the also thing about why I would want to bring Namor in there, because Namor is like that too with the Hulk. He's like, it was always an annual deal for them, to go at it, see who's the strongest.
Especially if we we do eventually get the Fantastic Four back, man. Ben and Bruce, gosh, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we'll get them back sooner or later.
I can't wait to just be like,
honestly,
what Rockman say about Hulk? Hulk smash Rockman to pieces. I just want to see that.
I've said it before. Honestly, the Fantastic Four is the only property I would want back with Marvel.
Yeah, because it would open up so many freaking doors for the MCU.
So many freaking doors.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Reason why people always say, how come you don't want
X-Men back. It's like, look, they don't really. I would in
The
my
X-Men,
world.
the way I've always seen the X-Men have always been in their own little corner of the Marvel
Yeah,
universe. Because
like-
people complain about I hate that people are saying, oh, Marvel in the comics now are getting rid of the X-Men. I'm like, no, Marvel is just doing what they always do with the X-Men. They push them to their own little corner, have their own little events that don't affect the Marvel universe at all. Like
Yeah,
Schism did not affect the Marvel universe.
I've told.
Exactly. And it's
I was
like
like, go ahead. Go.
oh, I'm sorry. Like with Jay, yeah, it's like you hear that article. Oh, Marvel's killing off the X-Men months after the whole all different lineup was posted. and we
With
got-
6-7 different X-Men titles.
Yeah, I'm like, why? And like, everybody's like believing this, and I'm like, some people, I swear, it's like you need to look this stuff up, and
Yeah, like
and also what Chris was saying with not needing the X-Men is we have Inhumans, and it's just like you have to put the X-Men in somewhere. It's just
I mean,
hard
it's too late in the game to have the
Yeah.
X-Men there, because that would be
Exactly.
too much to explain. Like where were the X-Men during Ultron then? Because there are like thousands.
didn't we talk about that? Is like when you're introducing these new characters, the catalyst now for especially the cinematic universe is almost the ground zero is where were these characters during the Chitauri attack or something like that. It's always almost comes down. Where were they? How do you explain that? Where were they? And that's kind of the thing now in terms of with Spider-Man is now it's like where was Peter and all of them during this attack? Where were they?
Yeah,
Because
because I heard a really cool fan theory of how they could easily write in the FF is that like Reed and them were actually trapped instead of being in.
Oh, they were in the 1960s with Hank and Peggy and Howard.
Yeah, and they end up trapped in the microverse, and instead of being in space, they get trapped in the microverse. And then when Scott visits the microverse, it gives them a window to actually escape, and that's how they end up in
Yeah,
in
but they're
modern day.
still young and youthful, and like they're not as old as Hank is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You can maybe say like they had side effects for being in there too long. Like
Yeah, exactly. Like the because Hank already explained in the microverse that they're like it's not just the Pym particles, it's all these random energies that are like colliding. So you could always play that up with the FF.
yeah, so there's those are things, but with the X-Men it's harder because it's like we have the Inhumans who are similar to mutants.
Yeah, and the thing with the Fantastic Four is so many different properties and elements are connected to the Fantastic Four that it's holding back the MCU. You look at the Skrulls, we could have had the Secret Invasion.
Yeah, see now there was see we don't even have the Skrulls, like they're attached. We can't even do Kang.
The Guardians can't do the fucking Badoon. How do you do the Guardians without the Badoon?
Yeah, it's like you can't do them because you can't do Kang because he's basically a descendant of Reed Richards. It's like we can't do that. It's like how you not have probably the second most recognizable Avengers villain.
And not.
And
Yep.
Well,
I mean,
I honestly think that if we're going to do this retrospective on the MCU as of this moment, I honestly think that we should take the time to look at how much of an impact the villains of each of the films actually made. To
Yeah.
really assess
'cause I mean,
if heroes
like,
warranted stopping this threat.
Yeah, and I mean, we're gonna.
I think for me personally, the biggest disappointment in terms of villains for the MCU is Ronan the Accuser.
yeah,
I agree with you.
Because
yes, yeah, I was.
Ronan is supposed to be a force throughout the galaxy that is feared, and he was just taken down like that.
You made him into a whiny, princely bitch.
Yeah, you take Ronan Accuser, who is this like executioner for the Kree Empire. Like when they need him, he comes in, and it's it's hammer time. This guy comes in, it's like,
Yeah,
holy shit.
Ronan the Accuser has taken down Heralds of Galactus.
Yeah,
Like-
and you bring him in, and I was so happy that Ronan was coming. I'm like, oh yeah, he's gonna be great. And I'm not saying that it's Lee Pace's fault. I'm not saying it's his fault, but I think they just poorly executed his character. I mean, you said it best, Tony. Yeah, he felt like a whiny brat. Like he couldn't get his way. Oh, show you.
He just felt like a little bigot. Like, and I love Thanos. I love Thanos' line too, where he's like, "You better watch your place, boy." And I'm like,
and he's like, "I'll bathe your something like blood or something like that in the Starways."
Bathe the Starways in your blood.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Thank you. Yeah, I always get that mixed up, but yeah, I mean, we'll talk about what we could probably do like sections because you know, and I actually really can't wait to do the MCU retrospective, but. If Chris is up for that as well, I mean, doing that together, I mean.
Yeah, like I said, guys, I'm available Thursday and Friday, so yeah.
And honestly, like I'm off this entire weekend, including Monday. So like
Well, I work and I have class, so that's going to be a weird time for me.
Well, we'll work it around for you, Tony. I mean, whatever day you're free. Yeah, I mean, if you really want to be a part of it, I mean,
Totally, I do.
Yeah, we'll work around it because, like I said, we were just talking about the shows that came on this week, and
also I wanted to talk about Heroes as a whole, like Heroes Reborn and all that.
I've been liking it though. Like as much as I've been like DVRing it, I really like it. I especially like Katana Girl is so cool.
Yeah, that part was hilarious. It reminded
me that she has Hiro Nakamura's sword. I thought it was so awesome.
I also like that it was a nice revitalization and homage to the first season of Heroes.
Yeah, but the shit that pisses me off, how the fuck do you kill Claire? She can't die.
How do you do that?
That is fucking impossible. Like, there is no fucking way Claire is dead. Like, Bennett better find his damn daughter, because I swear to God...
that's for sure. That is for sure.
I swear to God, if this miniseries does not end with Claire being saved, and they don't save this damn cheerleader by the end of this freaking series, I'm gonna be so pissed.
Wait. Claire was Hayden's character.
Hayden's character is Claire.
Oh.
They say in the first episode that Claire Bennett is dead. Like, how the fuck does that happen? How the fuck?
We got no way.
And basically, Noah is palling around with this fat conspiracy theory nerd. It's hilarious.
We're gonna head out, guys, but we're gonna keep talking. You guys take care. But yeah, this is after.
We'll be back sometime. I mean, probably.